suck.
I bet that was an eye opener.
Well, that and then there's this midget guy. Talk about eye opener.
Did you just say a midget?
Yeah. We call him midget guy. We don't know his name. But he had the body of a 12-year-old and like the head of a 70-year-old. It was the weirdest looking human being I'd ever seen in my life. And the head was very flat on top. It was like a wedge. His head was.
Is this somebody? Is this another person on the cruise?
Yeah. It started at the jaw and just kept wedging outward as you were going up the head, and
So
literally like flat on top of his head.
So like an upside down triangle.
Yeah, like a cone, kind of like a cone, only upside down. If you took an ice cream cone and like bit half the bottom off of it, okay, that's what his head looked like.
And he's got the body of a 12-year-old.
Yeah. I mean, like a small body, small arms, small legs, and this big, huge head with wrinkles everywhere. And anyways, you could tell. And he had a real wide neck, and it looked like his veins were popping out. But as it turns out, those weren't veins. Those are probably shunts. And the dude had hydrocephaly, but he couldn't turn his neck. He'd have to turn his body. So you'd see him kind of wobbling where he was walking, and somebody asked him, his name was Chris, and somebody'd say, Chris, from behind him, and he'd turn and pivot on one heel as he kind of spun. It was like watching a freaking wooden nutcracker walk and turn, because they can't turn their necks or anything. You just had to like pivot. Yeah.
Sweeten this story and tell me he was there with his wife who was banging hot.
He was there with nobody.
Oh, that's kind of sad, bro. Like, saved up his money and went on a cruise by himself?
He was there with nobody. I wanted to take him up as a friend because he was about, 3'6", 3'7", 8, somewhere around there. He was less than 4. Tall enough to make a perfect beer holder. Right? And his head was pretty flat, too. He could have accomplished that. Chris, if you're listening, I'm sorry. I am kind of making fun of you, but, sorry, not sorry. It was just funny to watch.
Little people are fascinating to me. Anytime I'm around little people, I'm very fascinated. Because I start thinking about, you talk about some people that have a plight in life. Like, if you're that small and you're in a regular sized world, everything's a challenge.
Yeah, but don't get me wrong. This was not like a bust on the little people thing because, frankly, if there was a little person female there, most likely I'd have been sitting trying to figure out how to bang this chick.
Buying her drinks.
Right. Let me pick you up and put you on the bar stool. But no, and that wasn't there.
Was that? Did you have any conversations with this little guy?
No, and I didn't want to have any conversation. He made me feel weird.
Why?
Well, first of all, when we were getting ready to get on the ship, I saw this guy, and he was like leaning up against the brick wall outside of the building that you got to walk into to get on the ship. And I'm thinking, okay, well, this guy's just panhandling. And then I saw him on the ship, and I was like, whoa, no way. How am I going to
panhandle his way onto the ship?
Yeah. Yeah, he got his way onto the ship. And anyways, it was just funny to watch him walk and pivot because he had to kind of sway side to side to walk. And then when you called him from behind, he'd have to kind of spin around on his foot. And he had it down to where he was kind of like how you lean a bicycle into a turn.
Yeah.
Okay, well, he had this lean with his left foot and left heel. He would pivot on his heel and turn complete and just start walking the other way.
That's swag, dude. That's total little person swag.
Oh, totally, yeah. And, I have my PT moments, and I had one on the ship, and we'll talk about that. Shandi had her very first quasi-PTSD moment, if you want to call it that, a freaking Tiddy style. Where
Shandi had one herself?
Yeah, she did. And I'm actually going to put her on here and let her talk about it. Everybody, I want everybody to meet Shandi. All right, so we've talked about Chris, the 12-year-old body with a 70-year-old head guy.
Yeah.
And how kind of bizarre that was.
You kind of did a double and triple take every time because it just did not match up. Nothing about him matched up.
I've got this image of like a really weird Benjamin Buttons character.
He had the body of like a 10-year-old boy. I mean, just, you know how twiggy boys look at that age. All legs and arms and, just stick thin. And then this 70-year-old head.
And I told Shani it was kind of like a wedge.
It was. I know he has had to have been through something, but it was just something that you had to double take every time because it didn't match up.
And then you had your very first PTSD moment
Oh,
ever.
God. Oh, I swear people were being idiots. Just because they say you can put 18 people on an elevator doesn't mean, hey, let's try it. So,
no.
Yeah.
Yeah, but keep in mind, we're on the biggest ship in the Carnival fleet at a time when kids are out of school, and this ship, like 1,000 more people than the ship that we're used to. So it's made it to where there were a lot more people to bump into, and the spaces on this ship are quite different, actually. The common spaces were much smaller than what we're used to, and there's a whole lot more rooms on this ship than what we're normally used to. So,
as bad as you wanted me to go on this cruise, I'm telling you right now, I'm glad I did not go on this fucking cruise.
Oh,
yeah. Yeah, this next one, dude, we'll get you on one, the smaller ship, one that we was a great ship. Because the food was marginal at best.
Yeah.
I mean, it sucked. Especially
wait, when you say Shandi had a PTSD moment, like what happened?
Well, they had already shut down where I was at. There was 4 elevators, and they shut 2 down so they could start moving luggage. And so I was in the room getting ready for dinner, so we had dinner at 8:15. And so I got on and was going to go up to 10 to where Brett was, and there was 2 women in there with 2 strollers. And then I got on, and then 3 more people got on, and we're like tit to ass. I mean, you're crammed in there already as it is. And I'm sunburnt, and it hurts, and I don't want anybody touching me. And one lady got off, and I'm like, okay, a little room. And I'll be damned if 2 more people didn't cram. I was like, nope, can't do it. Sorry, people, I can't do it. I got to get off here. And they wouldn't move out of my way, so I kind of plowed through them to get off. I'm like, I'm sorry, you got to move. Get out of my way.
Shandy's manners went elsewhere.
Well, after some of the kids that we had to deal with, yeah, my manners were gone. And all the people that thought they were entitled.
Yeah, you guys are not selling me on this cruise, man.
This is the first time I was ready to come home. Oh, we had fun. Don't get me wrong. We had fun. But I was glad to be home.
Yeah, I mean, she had she went into Grand Cayman with Sam. I did not go. I stayed on the boat. I had a PTSD moment getting ready to get off the boat, and I had no exit. And you know how it is with me when you have no exit strategy, it is bad. And
you gotta have a route of egress.
Yep. So I was like, nope, y'all have fun. I'm gone. And so they go into the Grand Cayman. You want to talk about entitled?
Oh my gosh! So they rent chairs on the beach. So Sam and I each rented us a chair for $5, and we go and we get settled. And 10 minutes later, this 80-year-old grandma and her daughter and her granddaughter pull up chairs behind us. And the little old lady just starts griping immediately. Well, I was told there's free Wi-Fi. I was told my chair would be free. I was told my umbrella would be free. Let me see if I can screw up umbrella again. And he's like, no, man. All chairs $5. All umbrellas $5. Well, I was told bus driver's lying to you. I mean, it's went on for a while. And she griped and griped and griped. She's like, well, I can't walk any farther. I'm just going to stay right here. He goes, $5. So she eventually paid him, but she still griped the whole time. And this family walks up to, there's 4 chairs in front of us open. And so there was 3 chairs, then 2 chairs taken, and then 1 chair. So this guy and his family come and just plop down. Well, there's an older lady next to the 3 chairs sunbathing, which we were all doing. So, you know, it was lovely sun. It felt amazing. And he goes and finds an umbrella somewhere. And the funny part was trying to watch him stick it in the ground, you know, because they come up with a Dremel with a drill and an auger and drill down into the sand for you to place the umbrella. Well, they're trying to put this umbrella, and they're like kicking sand all over these other people's stuff, and they're like, "Hey, would you please stop? You know, you're in my area now. You need to move your umbrella." And so this is going on, and she's like, "You know what? I'll just move down one, and we'll just scoot our chairs down away from you." I was like, way to go, sister. And so the guy comes up and he goes, "Hey, you can't have the umbrella here, man." He's like, "Well, I was told I can have an umbrella." "No, man. Wind too much, blow 'em away. And the chairs are $5 each." Well, that's not, I mean, this went on all day with people.
Now, keep in mind, this happened in Jamaica, too. The bus drivers lie their asses off
yes,
to get tips, and they'll take you to an area and say, you know, the beach is free, blah, blah, blah. It's a good place to be. And they drop you off like right in the middle of this shopping area. It's like a freaking flea market where every shop, I shit you not, dude, every shop had the same goddamn shit.
yeah,
Either that or all the shit just looks alike. You know, it's a freaking black with a big fucking neon green X.
yeah.
I mean, you know, it's Jamaica, right? So, well, same thing in Grand Cayman. The bus drivers lied to them. So there's a pattern here, and apparently all the bus drivers lie to everybody. So, if you're going on vacation to Grand Cayman or Jamaica, everything's a lie. Don't listen to the bus driver.
The only thing
What
they
do
did.
they lie? What are you asking that they lie about?
Well, they're lying about when they drop you off. You know, the drinks are $7.95. They're cheap, and if you mention my name, you can get a free burger and all sorts of shit. You know, so you get there and you're like, "Hey, Magic Dave, the driver told me I get a free burger." And it's like, who the fuck is Magic Dave? You know Magic Dave, man? No.
So the travel velocity gnomes are not the drivers of the bus.
No, that they didn't steer us wrong with how beautiful the water is. That you just can't take a picture and to describe, to do it justice. It was a clear light blue, then it went on to a turquoise, and then the farther out it went, the darker it got, and then it to a dark navy. It was just beautiful, white sand beaches. You know, there I can't really complain a whole lot. I mean, we laughed at the people because they were griping. I'm like, you are in one of the most beautiful places in the world, and all you're going to do is sit there and gripe.
Yeah.
Man, you guys are just not selling me on this cruise idea.
This one wasn't the best, but you know,
I mean, I'd still call this cruise an 8 out of 10.
it was an 8 out of 10. It was an 8 out of 10. I mean, if you are huge into people watching, you could. We mostly people watched and had a good time doing it.
Oh, dude, you remember me talking about rednecks on cruises?
Yes, sir.
Okay, I ran into Shiner. I ran into your big brother. This guy's about 350 pounds. He walks up to the bartender, and it was a bartender that Shandi and I had known for 2 years because he was on the Carnival Breeze, and he was on this ship, and he remembered me, sent my name and everything.
Yeah, it was cool.
Yeah, he remembered me because, I mean, you know, I handed out dollar bills like nobody
That's a
hands them out.
God-given talent, dude.
So he remembered me, and this guy walks up, and he's talking about he had the drink package, and he's like, "Man, I hate this because it's like 6 o'clock p.m., and I'm cut off." I'm like, "Cut off from what?" And he's like, "I've had my 15th." I was like, "Well, what are you drinking?" He's like, "Well, I'm drinking Miller." I was like, "Well, okay, you're approaching this the wrong way, Slick. You know, you can only get 15 drinks." And he's like, "Well, wait a minute. It's told to me that it was unlimited." And I was like, "Okay, 15 for 99% of the population is unlimited because they'll never touch it. You know, you're. I've got a buddy of
1%.
mine that also is part of that 1% of the population that when he wants to tie one on,